So, hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming here today. My name is Domitil Katemo. I'm from Namibia, and I moved to Prague in March 2023. So, my task involved administration, sales and marketing, and I also co-founded a family school in the poorest region of Namibia, which aims to teach the basics of computer science and programming once it's developed enough. Today, we are also joined by one of the Namibian PyCon leaders. Her name is Jessica Opani, and she's in the audience. Thank you so much for coming today. And so after hearing the talks of the Czech speakers at PyCon Namibia in 2020, I decided that I could return the favor by giving a short speech about Namibia and PyCon there, because not much is known about the Namibian way of doing things, and I would like to offer a short presentation that can help future visitors find their way to my country through learning of Python. And today I present you Python in the Namibian desert. And I don't really have much knowledge in Python or software programming. Today, I would just like to give you a short story on how I discovered Python and through the interviews I had with the Namibian PyCon leaders, which is Jessica Opani and Gazetungwe Muheore. And today, I would just like to tell you what I have discovered. And firstly, I would like to give you a short story of what I thought Python was. It was in 2020, in January, when I came across a friend's WhatsApp status, and she was advertising the Python conference. And the moment I read the word Python, the first thing that came to my mind was the Python snake. And so this was the cutest picture I could find. And then I asked her, how do I take part in the conference? And then she told me that I can join through Jungle Goals, where they could sponsor me with a free ticket if I'm a student, which I was at the time. And then I went to the conference, and then I discovered that Python was not only what I thought it was. So it was a software programming language, and I discovered so much about Python and what it can do. And that's where I also discovered what coding was, because I didn't know what coding was. I used to hear about it, but I had no idea. And so during the conference, I then met two amazing Czech guys. And their names are Honza Javarek and Andre Auer, who are also in the audience with us. And through them, that's where I got to know the existence of Czech Republic. I didn't know that Czech Republic existed until I met them, and today here I am in Czech Republic. So these are some of the few pictures of the PyCon Namibia 2020. And I'm the lady in the middle beside the two ladies. And then there are also the other pictures. There's Daniela Proceder and Honza Hovarek with some of the PyNam scholars. And there's also a group picture of some attendees that came to the conference. And the picture on the down right, there's Honza, Jessica, and Andre. So after the conference, Andre and Honza then decided to go on the road trip. So when you come to Namibia, it would be really great if you take the road trip. So they then asked me if I could show them around the city when they get back. And then I was like, sure, I'll be happy to do that. And I wanted to show them a different part of the city that most tourists don't actually get to see when they come to Namibia, because there is like a tourist bubble where they'll tell you not to visit certain places or talk to certain people. But I'm glad that Honza and Andre didn't listen to them, and they trusted me to show them around the city. And as you can see, they are back whole, they're safe and sound, nothing happened to them. And so I then decided to take them to the other part of the city that most people don't get to see, because when you land in a new country, you land into a city, and there's nothing really different that you haven't seen apart from nice buildings and nice houses. So I decided to take them to a place called Katutura. And the name means a place where no one wants to live. And during apartheid, Black people were forced to live in these areas, and it's also divided according to different ethnic groups. So I also lived in this part of Katutura, and this is how some part of Katutura looks like. And then this is our way to Katutura, and as you can see, we broke some rules there. We were not supposed to be 4 passengers at the back seat. But anyways, we did it, and luckily we got away with it. So I then decided to take them to one of the most popular places in Windhoek. It's called Katemo, where there's different vendors selling meat. And I didn't know that Andre was vegan, but as you can see, Honza really enjoyed the meat. So Namibia, where the hell is it? So how many people here know where Namibia is? Great number. So I will tell you some interesting facts about Namibia. We normally call it or describe it as a place where the Namib Desert meets the ocean, and it is home to the world's oldest desert, which is said to have been around 55 million years. So you don't need to go to Dubai, you can just come to Namibia and get to see the beauty of Namibia. It's a country located in Southwest Africa with a population of 2.6 million people. So you can all come to Namibia, we still have enough space, we can all fit. And regardless of its small population, Namibia has a remarkable diversity of languages and cultures, about 30 languages overall, with English being the official language, and we also have Afrikaans and German, which are the most widely spoken languages in Namibia. But if you speak English, you'll be able to communicate with everybody because everybody speaks English. Namibians are very friendly people. Everywhere you go, you are met with a smile, and we shake hands when we greet one another, and sometimes if we are friends, we continue to hold each other's hands while we talk to one another. And the surprising connection between Czech Republic and Namibia is that the relationship between Czech Republic and Namibia is historically positively determined, as Czech Republic supported Namibia in gaining its independence between the years of 1966 and 1988. Furthermore, there is also a great amount of Namibian scholars who graduated from Czech universities, and in the 1980s, 56 children were raised in Czechoslovakia, like they were from Namibia, and they were sent to Czechoslovakia, and the special educational program of the Namibian Liberation Movement, SWAPO, and the Communist Party Czechoslovakia aim to raise the children into a new generation of politically aware elite. And as you can see in the picture, these are some of the 56 Namibian children that were raised in Czechoslovakia. So I would like to share some of the culture shocks that I've experienced when I first got to Czech Republic. The language, it's like I've never imagined that there was a language with 7 declinations. And also everywhere you go in the stores, everything is in Czech, so sometimes it's hard to communicate, but Czech people are really friendly people that although they don't speak English much, if you go to them and ask for help, they'll always do their best to find a way to help you. And then the public transport, this was an adventure for me, because in Namibia we don't have trams, we have trains, but they don't travel within the city, they only travel long distance, but we hardly use them. So I got lost so many times, but I'm now getting better at it. And then Nasledeno. In Czech Republic, I was told that when you are leaving a place, you should always say goodbye to everyone. Whereas in Namibia, you are not required to say goodbye when you are leaving the place. Like, you are required to greet everybody, but when you enter the place, but when you leave, you don't need to say goodbye. So sometimes I forget to say goodbye. So if we are meeting somewhere outside and I forget to say Nasleda, no, please don't be mad at me. I'm still trying to let it sink in. Okay. And then the most funniest part is Russian. I was on a business trip with one of my employer, and then she asked me that she's passing by a supermarket, so I should tell her if I needed something. So I said, yeah, I needed, if she can please get me some small rations. And then she paused for like 10 minutes, and she called my friend Andre and asked her what I meant by small rations. And Andre was like, I don't have any idea of what a ration is. And then I sent her some pictures, and I meant sausage. And in Namibia, we know that it's called sausage, but we call it Russians, and everywhere you go, it's written Russian and chips. So then from there, I then discovered that it's called parky in Czech, if I'm pronouncing it right. And so she thought I was asking her to bring me some small Russian person, like a real human being. And so before I dive into PyCon Namibia, I would just like to share a few information on the PyNam Society, which is the Python Software Association of Namibia. It is a registered nonprofit organization, and it's the organization behind PyCon Namibia, and its objectives are to educate the public about the benefit in the use and understanding of the Python programming language, and to also develop programming and software engineering skills, and to create new generation of Python developers from as young as primary school learners, and empower women and girls in technology through PyLadies and Django Girls, and also to support PyNam members wishing to attend Python-related conferences, workshops, and meetings. Now, moving on to PyCon Namibia, it is different than what you think. I'll just share a short brief history about PyCon Namibia. It was founded in 2015 through the first Python conference that was held in Windhoek in 2015 by Daniele Procida in collaboration with the University of Namibia, Cardiff University, and the Phoenix Project. And at the time, Jessica Opani went to the conference, but she didn't also have any idea of what Python was at the time. But since the event was free and there was free food, so she went to the, to the conference. And then during the conference, Daniela then mentioned that they wanted some people who could volunteer and start a PyCon community so that they can continue the work that they have started. And then Jessica and her team decided to team up and form the PyCon community. But at the time, they didn't have any experience and they didn't know where to start or how to form a PyCon community. They were not given any guidelines on where to start. So what they did is define what PyCon meant to them, because they started from zero with little knowledge about Python and PyCon. So they defined what PyCon meant to them and also find out what kind of workshops that will benefit the community. And that then gave them the guideline on where to start. And this is the picture of PyCon Namibia in 2015. And these were some of the community members when they started. And these are some of attendees at PyCon Namibia. In 2017, they had about 93 attendees, and then it started dropping from in 2018 and 2019. Then in 2020, it started picking up, where they had more than 90 attendees with visitors from Czech Republic for the first time. And then in 2021, it was online, and 2022, they went on a break, and the 2023, they had more than 90 attendees from 14 different countries. And these are some of the pictures from the PyCon Namibia 2023. And there is some PyNam scholars there, and Daniela, and some of the PyCon Namibian leaders. And these are some of the challenges they faced in the beginning when they started Python. At the beginning, there were no jobs that require people to do Python, so people were not motivated to do Python or take part in their workshops. And at the time, Java and PHP were dominating, so people looked down on Python and they didn't want to use Python. So how they resolved some of these challenges, they tried their best to create international jobs that require people that do Python, and then they came across a company called Ade that outsources developers from Namibia. They get jobs in Europe, and then they look for developers in Namibia, and those people can work for them. And they also did their best to create more awareness about Python. And these are some of the PyNam user groups. We have PyNam Scholars, which was started in 2016 by Jessica and her team, and it aimed at empowering scholars through training and mentorship. And they started coding clubs, and these coding clubs started competing in coding competitions to raise more awareness about Python and also teach the scholars about different careers that exist in tech or computer science. And then there's Django Girls, which is a workshop, and it normally happens during conferences. It's a nonprofit and volunteer-run organization, and it's a community group that helps and empowers women in organizing free one-day programming workshop by providing tools, support, and resources. And it's also aimed to teach girls on how to develop websites. Then they have Django Namibia, which is one of the local Python user groups in Namibia, and its goals are to support the development of Django by hosting community events in Namibia and to promote the use of Django and advance the state of art in web development within the Namibian community, and it is led by Ngazetungwe Muhewe. Then Last but not least, they have PyLadies, which is a mentorship group in Namibia aimed to bring more women to tech and continue with meetups and not just enter the conferences, but do the work outside of Django. Then last, we have carpentry workshops, and these are the workshops they do for the community, and it's more for the researchers to help them analyze their data better using Python and by teaching them different techniques that they can use to involve tech within their research. And these are some of the challenges they faced in the beginning: lack of resources and funding. Like when they started, they were not, they would go and teach at school, but there's just like, they'll go to a school and there's like 10 computers and only 2 out of 10 computers are functional. So it was really hard to continue doing the work when there's not enough resources. And then as you can see in this picture, this was PyCon Namibia 2020. There's also, like, you could see some students are like doing programming on pen and paper. And then there's also a picture where there's like 4 scholars sharing 1 computer. And that's how they started their Patreon page, so that they can raise some funds to build a computer lab. And at the time, there were no Python jobs within the country as well. So people were not motivated in joining the community, and there's poor internet connection. Systems are outdated. Some places there is no good internet network. And Namibia also has a high GDP, which also stops some donors from donating to the projects. And I agree we have a high GDP, but if you ask me, I don't know where most of it goes to or where it gets invested in, because there's still a huge wealth gap within the country. And then there's also lack of commitment from some Namibian leaders, because people show interest in the beginning, but when it's time to do the work, no one shows up. So it's then hard to continue doing, for the community to move forward when no one is committed or when you cannot rely on anyone. And it's also difficult to find venues. When they need to find venues to host their workshops, meetings, or events, like for free, it's difficult. But when they're hosting the big PyCon event and they have to pay for the venue, then it's easy for them to find the venue. And people also leave the community, and there's also lack of support from our government. And also, it's also hard for our local companies to sponsor the local events. And then the Namibian time. So when you come to Namibia, you should always keep in mind about how Namibians deal with their time. So if your event starts at 5 p.m., make sure you tell them it starts at 2 p.m. so that by 5 p.m. you can get them all there. And I also attended a multicultural conference, multicultural festival here in Czech Republic on the 2nd of September. And there were like different countries showcasing their traditional food. And Namibia was also part of them, and their stall also had like a Namibian flag. Then I was like, wow, I'm so excited to meet my Namibian people there. And that was the only stall that was empty. And I asked the people that were there, like, where are the Namibians? And they're like, they just phoned us this morning that they cannot make it because they are too busy. So I was not surprised. That's the Namibians. Sometimes they are like that. And then moving on, the current status of PyCon Namibia, there's now more PyNam scholars who are now participating in the events. And they not only participate, but they also take part by giving presentations, and they not only talk about the plans of their studies, but also what they planned for the community. And before, when Jessica then started, Python was only used at the University of Namibia, but now now we have other 2 big universities that have adapted to Python. And in the Namibian history, at the time when Java and PHP were dominating, when people were not interested in using Python, so now Python is more visible than before, and they also have connection with other Pythonistas from other countries, and when they are hosting their events, they also go to their events. And how to get Namibians to attend your event: communication through WhatsApp groups. You can communicate with them through WhatsApp groups, and also advertise the event on other social media platforms. And also when the Namibian PyCon leaders are invited to local events, they also get to spread the word about Python and tell people about what they do. And that's also a great way to get people to come to your events and join the community. And also through financial aid, if you can sponsor them with their transport, accommodation, and free tickets for those that stay from far areas, then they will come to your event. And if your event is free and it has free food, rest assured they will show up to your event. And how to start a community in Namibia, you need to know more about the Namibian people, how they work and how they do things, and how to get them engaged in your community. But the most important thing is you need to be patient with them. And these are some of the success stories of Jessica, Upani, and Muhewer. They got their jobs through Python due to their community work and their effort and their sacrifices. So their recruiters contacted them, and because they've always been monitoring their work, and Jessica is now working as a Python teacher in Berlin, and Muhewer is now working at La Local Labs as a junior programmer. There is software talent in Namibia, but without networks of support and shared knowledge of what's possible and how to navigate it, opportunities will remain elusive, and that's what PyCon Namibia is trying to address. And what can you do to help? PyCon Namibia would appreciate any volunteers who would like to volunteer to their events or sponsor them on their events. And also, if you would like to donate to their Patreon page to build a computer lab in Namibia, please scan the QR code on your left. And if you want to extend your help to help the education in general, please scan the QR code on your right. And thank you so much for taking the time to patiently listen to my talk today. And thank you all for coming here today. And these are my details. If you need to talk to me or you need to know more about me, please scan the QR code on your left. And if you like to take part in the future events of PyCon Namibia or learn more about PyCon Namibia, please scan the QR code on your right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Domitil, for a lovely insight into Namibian Python community. We did not get any questions on Slido. Are there any questions in the room?
Hey, Domi, thank you for your talk
Thank you.
welcome to the Czech Republic. And I'm just curious, how is life in the Czech Republic? Is there any cultural shock, anything that surprised you other than the fact that we drink beer a lot?
Yeah, we also drink beer a lot due to the German influence. So it's not it's not a surprise at all. I'm enjoying Czech Republic so far. The people here are really welcoming and so friendly, and it's a beautiful country, and there's so much to see, and I love it here. I mean, I didn't know that one day I'll be in Czech Republic. It's a country I've just discovered 3 years ago, and now here I am. Yeah. Okay, there's another question there.
We got like one question on Slido. What is the best month to visit Namibia?
It depends if you like winter or the cold weather or the hot weather. But anytime during the year, it's the best time to visit Namibia.
Awesome. We got one more question.
Hi. You mentioned the lack of commitment from the government or lack of support. So I wanted to ask whether they talk to you at all if you do meet with some higher government officials, because you are doing interesting stuff. You bring high tech. So are they interested at all?
I'm not actually doing high tech. I'm just here to give you my experience.
No, I mean, you work to help people learn technology, which is, for me, it's a very interesting things that a lot of government want to support. So just asking about the experience there.
Sorry, could you maybe come somewhere here so I can hear
I will
you?
catch you later. Sorry about it.
Okay. All right, thank you. So.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, my question was that you bring interesting technology to other people. It seems that not many people are using Python or programming in general in Namibia.
Yes.
So my question was more about the government support. If you do get to meet with high government officials, if they are interested in that, how does that work?
Can I just call the person who's best to answer that question? I would like to invite Jessica. Yes.
Um, Honestly, we have not reached out too much to the government. We have tried to invite, like, the ICT deputy minister to come to our event to officiate or anything like that. We never got a response. We have worked with the schools. They have opened their doors to us to come and work with them. There has never been a difficulty there. But we have not been able to reach someone really in the government deeply to ask for actual help. I think maybe in a way also, the way our government works is that we don't expect them to do everything. So it's more like a collaborative effort, such that we don't really expect them to give us everything. It's more like, what can we do to assist whatever the government has put in place? And that's mostly what we base our efforts on. We have not asked for help like too much. Yeah.
We got one more question on Slido, which is, when is the next PyCon in Namibia?
Okay.
We have not officially announced it yet, but it should be early March. I don't want to quote the dates wrongly, but please follow PyCon Namibia on Twitter. We are also on Mastodon, I think. I haven't checked, but I think we did create an account there. So it will be early March. And what's interesting about PyCon Namibia is that when you come and you enjoy the conference, usually all our foreign visitors also go for a trip after the conference, usually very enjoyable. You get to enjoy the desert, prepare for the heat, but other than that, everything is really amazing. So yeah, just follow us on our social media sites and we'll announce that soon, but it will be early March.
Yes, I had one little addition. There was a question about when is the best time to visit Namibia, and I wanted to say that the best time is when you visit PyCon, Namibia. And I'm not kidding you, because when you visit Namibia and you are a tourist, you will see something, but it will be, you can look that up on the internet, and that's basically the same experience. But when you come for PyCon, you will make friends, and that makes all the difference. And then you can enjoy some time after the conference while having local friends there. And you have completely different experience than anybody else in the world.
Any other question? Maybe one last question? Okay, thank you, Domitil, very much.
Okay, thank you.